How can progressives win again? By looking at what went wrong here, by taking this moment and allowing it not to be a retrenchment of the idea of, half of Americans want a fascist regime. They don't. They want a good life for themselves and their families, and actually looking in the mirror. It turns out that running on these extraordinarily niche issues like gender fluidity or defunding the police or any number of things that people in places where I live get extremely excited about don't actually matter or frankly feel profoundly out of touch to ordinary Americans. So if progressive is about these niche issues that you find on college campuses and in gender studies department, and you want to keep doubling down on that, you're going to continue to lose.
When Barry Weiss says that the reason that Democrats lost is because they were running on, quote, niche issues like gender fluidity or defunding the police, that is the 100% perfect encapsulation of the problem that Democrats face contending with this right-wing media. Let me be perfectly clear. Democrats didn't run on issues like gender fluidity. Democrats didn't run on issues like defund the police, which, by the way, is not to say that those weren't issues in this election, because they were, but they were because the right shoehorned those issues into the zeitgeist by pretending that they were being raised by the left. An ad depicting a trans athlete who, by the way, is now 62 years old and a grandmother, played over and over again this cycle in Ohio. That was funded by the Republican Senate Leadership Fund to the tune of $38 million. Trump's campaign poured about $20 million into this clip that I'm sure you've seen because it even aired during the literal World Series.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
Hell no, I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to that.
Kamala supports transgender sex changes in jail with our money.
Kamala even supports letting biological men compete against our girls in their sports. Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
In total, Republicans have spent $215 million on ads painting trans people as a menace to society. But in reality, far from Kamala predicating her campaign on trans people like these commercials suggest or Barry Weiss describes, trans people were virtually non-existent in her actual campaign. Here's an article from a left-wing publication, The Nation, where Kamala's silence on the issue of trans rights is actually lamented. Quote, Kamala Harris does not, in fact, want to do transgender operations on illegal aliens in prison, and that's too bad. The article goes on to say, with regard to a 2019 stance that she had, which was the basis for her comments on this Trump ad, Harris, meanwhile, seems to have walked back her 2019 stance, with her campaign telling Fox News that questionnaire is not what she is proposing or running on. This is perhaps unsurprising. As a senator, Harris aggressively backed anti-sex worker legislation like SESTA FOSTA, and in 2015, when she was California's Attorney General, her office pushed to deny incarcerated trans woman Michelle Norsworthy's plea for gender-affirming care while she was being held in a men's prison. As MSNBC columnist Caitlin Burns recalled, Harris's explanation was that she had fought internally within her department to support gender-affirming care for prisoners, even as her office led the argument against providing such care. Trump may click farm with hateful word salad, but the current Harris platform does not specifically mention transgender people at all. And as Democratic candidates have been indulging in anti-trans rhetoric, Harris has stayed silent. In other words, even the left admits in dismay that Harris didn't make the issue of trans rights or trans Americans a focus of her campaign. And yet the right has decided that not only was it an issue, but it was the top issue. An issue that Barry Weiss says with certainty that Kamala predicated her campaign on, while these Fox News hosts nod along like bobbleheads. The fact is that Republicans will decide what's most damaging, they will pretend that Kamala or the Democrats have that position, and then they'll skewer the left for something that they've just created out of whole cloth. They are literally complaining about a caricature that they themselves invented. But that right there is the benefit for Republicans of operating within a hermetically sealed media bubble. Because whereas anyone operating in good faith could simply say, no, Kamala is not running a campaign based on giving trans inmates gender reassignment surgeries, instead, they insulate themselves and they spread these lies over and over and over, and there's no one to push back. There's no one to tell the truth, and not only do the lies persist, but they're repeated so frequently, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, that they get seared into the cerebral cortexes of the people consuming this stuff. It becomes an absolute certainty to these people that Kamala Harris is for gender reassignment surgeries for trans inmates in prison. It is literal brainwashing, all based on a position that she offered one time in 2019 that she has since refused to stand behind for years. But the facts don't matter to these purveyors of disinformation. All that matters is they can tarnish her reputation to an unwitting base, and they did. And so now, look, I don't like to speak in certainties, but I can damn near guarantee you that if you asked 100 random people to name Kamala Harris's housing policy, maybe, 2, 3, 4 would be able to tell you? But if you ask those same 100 people what her position on trans inmates is, you'd get a hell of a lot more than 4. You'd get everybody who, for example, tuned into the World Series. You'd get everyone who watched right-wing media. You'd get everyone who was the target of a $250 million disinformation campaign. And look, that's not for lack of trying on the left. Like, you all know that if you've watched my videos, that I and Midas and Pac-Man and Destiny have all spent day after day beating this drum about policy. But the reality is that the left-wing media ecosystem simply cannot compete with the right. A few creators on the left cannot neutralize Fox News and OAN and Newsmax and Tucker Carlson and the Nelk Boys and Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, Alex Jones, Megyn Kelly, Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire, Dan Bongino, Charlie Kirk. The list is endless. And that's to say nothing of the right-wing influencers that dominate YouTube and Rumble and Twitch and Kick and TikTok and Discord servers. We do not have the infrastructure. And I know you've heard me make this argument, but the Democrats in power have not just a responsibility, but an obligation to start validating the left-wing ecosystem so that we can start to compete with the right. That means stop pretending that our big interviews go to CNN first. That means stop giving all the juicy breaking news to Axios or Politico. If you have an announcement, make it on a YouTube show. Go to a Twitch streamer, get on an Instagram Live with somebody. It doesn't have to be with me. I'm not advocating for myself, but they should be validating the very creators all over the left-wing ecosystem who are trying to mount a challenge to what the right has spent years building up. And we'll never be able to do that so long as the left pretends that the mainstream media is the antidote to the right-wing media ecosystem, because they're not. Nor should they be. The New York Times shouldn't be a mouthpiece for the Democrats, although they can certainly stop engaging in so much naked both sidesism, but we can build up an answer to what the right is building, if only the people in power were willing to show that they want it. And so far, they've largely failed to show that. And the way that the left has effectively lost a generation of young guys in this country is the consequence of that inaction. So look, moving forward, there is a lot that we have to contend with. A right-wing media ecosystem that dwarfs what we have on the left, right-wing influencers and personalities and hosts who can concoct a narrative out of whole cloth just to define the left, regardless of its merits or its truth, complete shamelessness about doing it, and finally an audience that is so insulated they never know any better. And I know that all feels insurmountable, and it might be, but the reality is that the onus is on us right now that we've diagnosed the problem, to work toward parity here, some semblance of parity. I just launched a Twitch account to try and reclaim some of this ground. If you're on Twitch, follow me there. Follow some other progressive commentators, help us grow our left-of-center media ecosystem. We're in a marathon here, and the only way to get to the end of this thing is to start on mile 1. Before you go, just a quick note, if you'd like to see more of my content, which is always free of advertising, sponsorships, and paywalls, please make sure to subscribe to this channel using the subscribe button right here on the screen. And if you'd like to support my work even further, you can grab a copy of my instant #1 New York Times selling book, Shameless, available for sale right now. That link is also on the screen. Thanks so much for watching.